everyone. So I'm still doing these pansies, and they dried in. I also tried to blend it out right here, and this time, there we go. I'm doing a timer, so that's the weird thing about being sick. You'll have moments of, I don't know how else to put it, not being as bad, you know, and you're still bad off, but at least for me, I'm able to get something done. And I'm glad I'm able to get this done. I'm glad that I gave myself these art assignments, cuz I do have a lot of art that I want to get done. And I would feel, well, I don't know how else to put it, kind of like a loser if I didn't manage to at least accomplish, you know, hopefully this is still on camera. At least accomplish getting this stuff finished. This is the exact same mix that I did earlier, and interestingly enough, it's a bit darker. It's like it's more purpley rather than magenta. It is dried up just a little bit, not very much at all, because it's only been like 15 minutes, I think, at most, since I filmed the last video. So, but I guess I am pretty much getting the same coloring as over here, so that's what matters. The light that I'm using is, I'm not using lamplight at all. Usually I like to push a lot of light or put a lot of light on my subject. And today I'm actually sitting in the back corner of the room with, the shade is drawn but it's open, so it's letting all the light in from outside, and it's a Venetian blind, so it's angling the light down towards the bed, and that is hurting a lot. Oh, it was so strange yesterday. I actually had pain in my eyeballs. I haven't had that except for like during the worst migraines. And it's strange. The only other time I've gotten like really bad migraines in my life is, when I've been on my period. And also when I had a lot of stress, but we were having a lot of storms, and it was, I was, the sheer rain and the volume of rain that we had, what was it, 2008? It was just, wow. I was absolutely shocked. It was the most stressful time in my life, but it was also, oddly enough, the most stormy time, like actual physical weather, stormy. Um, and it was in a landlocked, extremely arid, despite what anyone says, desert region, and yet we were literally at one point, the weatherman, who was Gary England at that point, he said, we're landlocked and yet we just had a hurricane. I mean, everything he said described a hurricane. I was like, that's a hurricane. And he ended up popping up and saying, yeah, we're landlocked and yet we just had a hurricane. So There you go. I think that's pretty good. Now, one of the problems with pansies is that I don't, I'm not painting this according to actual pansies. I do realize that. So since I'm not doing that, what do I want to actually do? I think I'll go ahead. Well, should I leave these kind of white? Because I was thinking of painting this one magenta. My question is, do I want to paint? I think I'll paint these hot pink. I'm going to paint something hot pink. It's going to happen. I don't care. It's happening. And you know what? It's happening right now. Okay. I have my answer. I know what I'm going to do now. I'm painting this. I'm painting these back leaves. They're not leaves, they're petals. But I'm painting these back petals hot pink. A nice bright hot pink. And since the since the camera is angled in such a way that I cannot see what the screen sees, I really hope that I am catching this. Because I tried a pulled out, zoomed out view, and it looked so bad. It was, it showed the bed and the mess around me, and I'm not about to show off that. Here we go. Yay, it's blending now, just like I want. I want a gradient effect, or as they've been calling it lately, an ombre effect, which is interesting. That's a new term for it, but see if I can get that. I want to bring this paint, trying to stretch my paint, bring it over here. See, the problem is that I really want it to do a fade, so that's a lot lighter on the tips here. But in order to do that, I need to not necessarily put more paint on this. I really don't paint like a traditional watercolorist. I actually learned how to color via colored pencils, via Lee Hammond. And what you do is you start with the darkest areas, and then you basically blend to the lightest areas. That does stop you from having highlights. But I'm trying to essentially do the same thing with watercolor. In watercolor, you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to layer. You're supposed to put layer after layer after layer, and you're supposed to do it a whole lot lighter and more pale than you do with colored pencils. Colored pencils, you put like the strongest and the darkest and the deepest, most vibrant colors on first, and then, at least the way that I learned, and then you go from there. And I'm trying to apply that to watercolor. And obviously it's not totally working, you know. And I'm not painting entirely within the lines either. I can see that. So I hope to fix that problem. But now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to do that other back pedal. And I figure this is safe, because if these two bleed into each other, it's not the worst thing in the world. I actually need to turn this upside down. I hope that's still on camera. I can't. Yeah. Yep, that's on camera. To some extent. So. I probably should say I do at least somewhat apologize for the last video and talking about anything but art, and the last video essentially not being about art. But as I said in the last video, you know, the art and the illness are intimately tied together, and you cannot separate one from the other. Illness is, you know, illness is who and what I am, whether I want it to be like that or not. You know, it's like being in a wheelchair. You know, you're so much more than the wheelchair, but you're never not going to be in a wheelchair, you know. And kind of like what I was saying in the last video, I can't tell you how much I need, you know, like people who have cancer, people who are in wheelchairs, you know. I can't tell you how much I need the placebo effect to be real, and for us to not need doctors, which is why I'm doing this in the first place. You know, it would be wonderful if the placebo effect was real and people who are in wheelchairs could get up and walk, you know, via the power of their mind and the power of, you know, I mean, I think that's what religion is. It's actually the power of people's minds, and they just don't realize it. You know, it's literally your own, it's not God answering you, it's you answering your own prayers, and it's via the power of your mind and the power of something that is very physical and very real, but we haven't been able to nail down yet what exactly it is and what exactly is going on. But I think via people's willpower and the power of their mind, they are actually willing themselves healthy. And I can't tell you how much I need, you know, for people who have wheelchairs and are unable to walk, for people who are, you know, you know, all 4 points are pelagic, you know, paralyzed. You know, their arms and their legs are paralyzed. I can't tell you how badly I need for people who are paralyzed and unable to even feed themselves or brush their hair. I can't tell you how badly I need for them to be able to just do simple things. How wonderful it would be for them to just, you know, I found out that if your legs don't work, depending upon the spinal injury that you have, um, your bowels don't work either, and you actually end up having to rely on all kinds of chemical and medical equipment just to relieve yourself. And it'd be so wonderful if, you know, if you have paralyzation problems, just to be able to take care of your daily needs on your own, you know, just to be able to get up and walk. I mean, which is why, you know, part of the reason that I don't put any value in the placebo effect or in emotions having the answer to everything, because if that was the case, then people who are in, you know, have cancer are, you know, bad off neurologically like that. As long as they have, you know, they're not mentally handicapped, they should be able to have the placebo effect, the brain power to cure themselves, and the, you know, forget this, I'm at least going to be able to brush my own hair. I'm at least going to be able to, you know, take care of bathroom habits on my own. I'm at least going to be able to feed myself and not have to be stabbed in the back of the throat with a fork, you know, because the person that's feeding me just can't do it right, you know, that kind of thing. Uh, I've had back problems in the past where, you know, I'm not going to go into it, but I was paralyzed for 4 years. It was horrific pain. I couldn't get up out of bed. My mom said, "You'll get better." And I believed her. I wanted her to be the truth, but I was like, this is not going to get better. And I can't tell you how grateful I am to this day. I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't. And it was very bad. It was bad. And yeah, thankfully she ended up being right. And the only thing that cured my back pain and that cured my neurological problems, and yes, I was essentially paralyzed for like 2 years straight there. It was bad. Um, the only thing that made it better was laying flat on my back for 4 years straight. I didn't have any money, so I couldn't take any pain pills, and I was allergic to pain pills anyway. And so I laid on my back for 4 years straight, not able to move, not able to get up, go to the bathroom. It was bad. But I laid there, unable to move, and I lost significant weight and muscle mass. But after 4 years, it caused me the worst pain in the world, but I was able to move again. And from that, I just, it was like what they teach you. I'm not going to go into that either, but in the military stuff, it's like, what can I, what what facilities do I have? Do I have the use of my fingers? Do I have the use of my toes? Do I have the use of my brain? How well can I think right now? And then you find out what you do have. You work from the point of not what you don't have. You work from the point of what you do have. And so I had access to my fingertips, and my brain was perfectly fine, even though it was being, sidelined by horrific pain. I was able to think to some degree, and, you know, and you just start slowly. Can I grab that thing over there? Can I do this? Can I do that? And you work from a point of what can I do? And you put all your focus on what can I do? And that is what healed me. That is what helped me. What can I do? Because what you cannot do is always going to be there and present and front and center, but you start focusing on what can I do? What can I, what resources do I have? And I think that is a very important message in today's political climate and financial climate. What do I have? It's small, it's insignificant, it's not going to matter. But, and at times it didn't even matter to me. But just focusing on what do I have? What can I do? That is what pulled me out of it, ultimately. That is what pulled me out of it. I'm sorry for doing another little preaching video here, but that saved my life, and I hope to save other people's lives too with that. Since I need to let these dry before I go on to the next section, I want to complete these next sections today. As a bonus point for myself, I might start doing tracings and outlines with my watercolor pencils, which is where I want to get to today. But if I can just do these petals here. Sorry for going like military on you. I didn't mean to do that. I am in a lot of pain, but I am fighting. So, I gotta let this dry, so I'm gonna cut this video off now. Hopefully it's still on camera. Hopefully I didn't go off. And I hope that my message, the last video and this video, you are your body. You know your body better than any doctor. And don't push your body past the limit, but work with your body instead of against it. And that is also what helped me the most. Work with your body. What can you do? You know, because doctors will say do it anyway, but your body will say no. And I learned if your body says no, then the answer is no. Go with your body and start looking at what can you do instead. What can I do? And that is what pulled me out of that mess. So I hope the last video and I hope this video helps the chronically ill. I hope it helps everyone. Show this to your chronically ill friends. Show this to everyone. Even show this to people who are having a hard time of it financially. You know, what do you have access to and what can you do? So there we go. That's it. I'm going to cut this video off now. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to do at least one more video in bed here like this. I hope I get better. I hope this placebo effect works. Arguably, I'm feeling better, but I'm getting more swollen. So, but I'm glad I'm doing this because I've never had a migraine like this before for absolutely no reason. So anyway, bye for now. Thanks for stopping by.